Well, good morning, our beloveds. Time is running out, and yet time is just beginning. We have told our another many times, this is the first day of your life, and also it is the last day of your life. Both can be true at the same time, and this is what it can mean in certain circumstances. When you assume that tomorrow will be exactly like today, for some of you, for many of you, it has become boring, it has become predictable, it has become untenable, undesirable. Indifference breeds indifference. When you don't choose the direction of your life every day with intentionality, you start to just kind of drift off. You're just at the end of a tether, but with no real direction, just blowing in the wind. When you wake up, what is your practice? What is your first thought? What is it that you go to or think about? Notice that. Do you wake up with just a sense of gratitude of, I am really thankful and blessed and appreciative of being alive? Or is it more along the lines of, oh God, I gotta get up again? Kind of a Groundhog Day experience. Which is it? Now, maybe you cannot change the outer world today because it just is what it is. But what can you change in your inner world today to find abundance and grace and gratitude in spite of your circumstances? Think Viktor Frankl. The patterns are there. The messaging has been there. There is nothing new under the sun except for the Aquarian age, which is a whole new vibration. But you can build it on past practices that were effective. When you wake up, first thing in the morning, grab a piece of paper or jot it down somewhere. What are 3 things that you are grateful for today? I am alive. I have a lovely family. I am thankful for a roof over my head. Find the most minutia points instead of I am rich and wealthy. That is more privilege. Find the things that make you sparkle internally. And then find 1, 2, or 3 things that you can do differently today to add a new element of either excitement or privilege or industrialism. We don't really care, but you can't get to someplace new unless you create some momentum in an energetic fashion to propel that change. An object in motion is more likely to remain in motion unless the energetic imprint runs out. If you roll an object down a hill, it will continue to roll down a hill until it bottoms out. So what can you do today to propel you off of a hillside into a valley where you may see things differently? When you are on top of the mountain, you can see really far, but to a certain extent, you can't see the trees for the forest because you have too much altitude, too much distance. we would like for you today to set the intention to get momentum going so you can roll down into the weeds, to see and feel and experience what it is to really be alive, to be living it, instead of simply observing it. When you come to Earth as a human being, part of the process, the purpose, the principle is to become the enlightened version of you, which simply means tuning into your soul, your spirit, your guidance system, your intuition, and finding what makes you feel like an inspired toddler. Toddlers don't think about the outside world and what the expectations are of them and for them, unless, of course, they have been conditioned to do that. Most are still curious, willing to play and color outside of the box. They don't want to be well-behaved or controlled and regulated. They want to explore within their environment to figure out how the universe plays back with them. Have you lost that sense of curiosity, that willingness to fall down and scrape a knee because you just want to see what you are capable of? Being timid and shy might be a trauma response. It might be that you were conditioned within your particular environment not to take big moments and build upon them, to try something new, to figure out how the universe actually interacts with you. Have you become docile because it is safer, because it is expected, or because you really chose it? Many have not chosen it, though some have, because that is just simply your temperament. But if you are docile and well-behaved, that doesn't mean that you don't try new things. You just do it in whatever manner appeals to you. So are you avoiding life and the challenges that it brings about? Or are you just seeking quiet because your nervous system really just enjoys quiet and you feel contentment and peace? Do you have anger? Do you have resentment? Do you have intrusive thoughts? Well, instead of pushing those emotions and sensations and experiences away, we would encourage you all to just simply be curious. Ask yourself, why am I angry? Why am I disillusioned? Why am I unwilling to take big steps? Figure out what it is by being curious and talking to that part within you, that wounded child or that curious child. Figure out who you were when you were born, because that's the closest that you will get to your original imprint before human beings and doings impacted you or influenced you to become a different version, because it was safety seeking. How can I please my caretakers? How can I appease my caretakers? You were always reading the cues, facial expressions, as well as harms that occurred to figure out what was predictable, not desirable, what was predictable and what wasn't. And you avoided getting hurt, getting abandoned, getting neglected. And when that bubbles up when you are older, it is a bit messier, because you have now built a lifetime on top of that strategy. And it works until it doesn't. And as we move from the Piscean to the Aquarian age, the vibrational imprint that worked within the Piscean age, safety and security, over everything is no longer grounded in science in the Aquarian age. We will find new ways of doing things better, that are respectful for me and for everyone. Figuring out what this looks like is going to take a few generations, so do not expect it to occur overnight. But when you begin to have these epiphanies of how you made yourself small, not because you were bad, but because you were simply trying to be loved, cared for, tended to, when you realize your parents did the best that they could because they were taught the same thing, and their parents were taught the same thing, and their parents were taught the same thing, you will begin to see how intergenerational trauma, while destructive, is from one perspective intended to keep the species alive so that it can procreate and procreate and procreate. There was nothing bigger other than let's keep the gene pool alive for the next generation. And therein lies the fallacy, because now your gene pool will no longer consist of just those that were birthed with you, but more those who vibrationally align with who you are. And so family of origin will be replaced by family of choice. You will begin to see how your family constructs no longer align with yours. And for many of you, you will begin to distance yourself from family because it no longer feels like home, and they will do the same. And you will build new families within continents and constructs that feel safe, secure, and loving, built upon when one person thrives, everyone thrives, instead of, if I thrive, it must be because I climbed on your back to achieve that. All tides lift all boats in the harbor, not just one or two. And that, more than anything else, is the construct, the complexity, and the continuance of the Aquarian age. The triple C's, you will see. And so it is. Namaste.